The decision came immediately. Not hours after the game. Not the next morning after meetings and phone calls and careful deliberation. Immediately. Dave Roberts stood in that cramped manager's office, still wearing the uniform of a game that had just ended, and made the kind of decision that sends shockwaves through an entire organization. Roki Sasaki's role was being changed. 3 main players were being moved to the Tigers. A new starting pitcher was being brought in to face the Diamondbacks. And Shohei Ohtani, sitting calmly in front of a microphone in the press conference room, made a request that felt both bold and perfectly reasonable at the same time. He wanted the All-Star Game roster to be all Dodgers. Every single player. The room went quiet when he said it. Not because it was outrageous. But because when Shohei Ohtani speaks, people listen. And what he was really saying, underneath those words, was something much bigger. He was saying this team is ready. This roster is built for something historic. And everyone around the league needs to start recognizing it. But before anyone could process Ohtani's All-Star request, they had to process what Dave Roberts had just done. The Dodgers had just finished a game. The clubhouse was still buzzing with post-game energy. Players were showering, answering questions, unwinding from 9 innings of high-pressure baseball. And in the middle of all that, Roberts made a decision that would reshape the entire roster. Roki Sasaki, the young phenom who had been brought over with so much hype and so much expectation, was being handled ruthlessly. Not cruelly. Roberts doesn't operate that way. But ruthlessly in the sense that sentiment and potential and promise were being set aside in favor of what the team needed right now, in this moment, to win games that matter. Sasaki's role was being re-evaluated. His usage was being restructured. And the organization was making it clear that no player, no matter how talented, no matter how hyped, was above the standards this team had set for itself. At the same time, 3 main players were being transferred to the Tigers. The news broke fast. Social media exploded. Reporters scrambled to confirm the details. Fans flooded message boards trying to make sense of what they were seeing. Because these weren't fringe players. These weren't minor league call-ups or roster fillers being shuffled around to make room. These were main players. Contributors. Guys who had been part of the Dodgers' plans. And now, in the span of a few hours, they were being packed up and shipped to Detroit. The trade wasn't about punishment. It wasn't about failure. It was about alignment. The Dodgers are chasing something massive this season. They're not playing for moral victories or building for the future or hoping things come together eventually. They're built to win now. And if a player doesn't fit that immediate window, if a roster spot can be used more effectively, if a move can be made that improves the team's chances even marginally, Roberts and the front office are willing to make it. No hesitation. No sentimentality. Just ruthless, clear-eyed decision-making. The 3 players heading to Detroit didn't go quietly into obscurity. They're talented. They'll contribute in Detroit. They'll get opportunities they might not have gotten in Los Angeles. But for the Dodgers, this wasn't about what those players could do somewhere else. It was about what the roster needed to look like right here, right now, in order to maximize their championship window. And Roberts, standing in front of the media just hours after the final out, didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't offer platitudes about difficult decisions or thank the departing players for their contributions in some rehearsed, emotionless way. He was direct. These moves were made to improve the team. Period. The Dodgers are not interested in being good. They're interested in being unstoppable. And if that requires making moves that feel aggressive or unexpected or ruthless, then that's exactly what's going to happen. And then came the announcement that caught everyone off guard. A new starting pitcher was joining the team. Not eventually. Not in a few days after paperwork and physicals and media introductions. Now. The pitcher was being brought in immediately and would be starting in the upcoming game against the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers weren't waiting. They weren't easing the new addition into the rotation or giving him time to adjust to a new clubhouse or letting him throw a few bullpen sessions before handing him the ball in a real game. They were throwing him directly into the fire. The Diamondbacks series mattered. Every series matters when you're chasing the kind of season the Dodgers are chasing. And Roberts was making it clear that this new pitcher wasn't being brought in as a backup plan or an insurance policy. He was being brought in to contribute immediately. To take the ball. To give the Dodgers quality innings. To help this team win games right now. The identity of the new pitcher sent another wave of speculation through the baseball world. Analysts broke down his stats. Fans debated whether the move made sense. Rival teams watched closely, trying to figure out what the Dodgers were building and how to counter it. But inside the Dodgers clubhouse, there was no debate. There was only preparation. The new pitcher was being integrated into the system. He was meeting with the coaching staff. He was studying the Diamondbacks lineup. He was preparing to step onto that mound in front of a packed stadium and deliver exactly what the Dodgers needed. And the rest of the roster was adjusting around him. Because that's what championship teams do. They don't panic when the roster changes. They don't spiral into uncertainty when a new face walks into the clubhouse. They adapt. They trust the process. They trust the front office. And they trust that every move being made is designed to put them in the best possible position to win. But while the baseball world was still processing the roster shakeup, the Sasaki decision, and the new starting pitcher, Shohei Ohtani was sitting in front of a microphone saying something that felt almost absurd in its boldness. He was asked about the All-Star game. About who he thought deserved to be there. About which Dodgers players should be recognized. And Ohtani didn't hesitate. He didn't offer a diplomatic answer about how there are a lot of great players across the league and it's an honor just to be considered. He said it plainly. All Dodgers. Every All-Star spot should go to a Dodger. The room paused. A few reporters exchanged glances. Someone in the back let out a quiet laugh, not mocking, but surprised. Because Ohtani doesn't say things like that. He's usually measured. Respectful. Careful not to create controversy or say anything that might be taken the wrong way. But this wasn't controversy. This was confidence. This was Ohtani looking at the roster around him and recognizing what everyone inside that clubhouse already knows. This team is stacked. This roster is historically good. And if the All-Star game is supposed to represent the best players in baseball, then yeah, it should be all Dodgers. Because right now, in this moment, the Dodgers are operating at a level that the rest of the league is struggling to match. Ohtani continued. He talked about Mookie Betts and the kind of season he's having. He talked about Freddie Freeman's consistency. He talked about the pitching staff and the depth and the way every single player on this roster is contributing at an elite level. He wasn't being arrogant. He wasn't disrespecting other teams or other players. He was simply stating what he believes to be true. The Dodgers deserve to dominate the All-Star roster because they're dominating the league. And the interesting thing about Ohtani's statement wasn't just what he said. It was how he said it. There was no hesitation. No qualifier. No, I think, or, in my opinion, or, maybe. Just a clear, direct statement delivered with the kind of calm authority that only someone like Ohtani can deliver. Because when you're the best player on the planet, when you're putting up the kind of numbers Ohtani is putting up, when you're carrying the kind of responsibility he carries every single night, your words carry weight. And Ohtani was using that weight to make a point. This Dodgers team isn't just good. It's historically special. And everyone around the league needs to start treating it that way. The All-Star Game request also did something else. It shifted the narrative. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about the roster moves or the new starting pitcher or the Sasaki decision. It was about the Dodgers as a whole. About what this team represents. About whether they're already the best team in baseball or if they still have something to prove. Analysts started debating it on air. Fans started arguing about it online. Other teams started paying even closer attention. And inside the Dodgers clubhouse, the message was clear. Ohtani had just put the entire league on notice. The Dodgers aren't sneaking up on anyone. They're not hoping to surprise people in October. They're the team to beat. Right now. And they know it. Back to Dave Roberts and the decision he made immediately after the game. The ruthlessness of it can't be overstated. In most organizations, a decision like this would take days. There would be meetings, consultations, debates about whether the timing was right or whether they should wait and see how things develop. But Roberts didn't wait. He didn't second guess. He saw what needed to be done and he did it. And that kind of decisiveness, that kind of clarity, is exactly why the Dodgers are where they are. Because Roberts isn't managing this team to make everyone happy. He's managing this team to win a championship. And if that means making uncomfortable decisions, if that means reshaping the roster in the middle of the season, if that means being ruthless with players who thought they were safe, then that's exactly what's going to happen. The players being sent to the Tigers will have their own feelings about it. Some will be frustrated. Some will feel betrayed. Some will use it as motivation to prove the Dodgers wrong. And that's fine. That's professional sports. But from the Dodgers' perspective, this move was about addition by subtraction. It was about clearing space for pieces that fit better. It was about maximizing every single roster spot to give this team the best possible chance to win every single night. And Roberts, standing in front of the cameras just hours after making that call, didn't flinch. He didn't apologize. He didn't soften the message. He simply explained that the Dodgers are built to win and every decision being made is in service of that goal. The new starting pitcher walking into this situation has to understand what he's stepping into. He's not joining a team that's experimenting or rebuilding or figuring things out. He's joining a team that expects excellence. A team that has no patience for excuses or adjustment periods or growing pains. He's being handed the ball against the Diamondbacks and the expectation is simple. Go out there and win. Give the team quality innings. Execute the game plan. Don't be the reason this team loses. And if he can do that, if he can step into this pressure-packed environment and deliver, then he'll be embraced. He'll be part of something special. But if he can't, if he struggles, if he becomes a liability instead of an asset, then the Dodgers won't hesitate to make another move. Because that's what ruthless organizations do. They don't wait for players to figure it out. They demand results immediately. And that ruthlessness, as cold as it might sound, is exactly what makes championship teams different from everyone else. Average teams hope things work out. They give players time to develop. They make excuses for underperformance. They talk about potential and patience and long-term plans. Championship teams don't do that. Championship teams demand excellence right now. They make hard decisions without hesitation. They cut players who aren't contributing even if those players are popular or well-liked or have potential. They operate with a level of clarity and focus that most organizations can't sustain. And the Dodgers, under Dave Roberts, have become exactly that kind of organization. The game against the Diamondbacks is going to be a statement game. Not just because of the new starting pitcher making his debut. Not just because of the roster shakeup that just happened. But because the Dodgers are going to walk onto that field carrying the weight of everything Ohtani just said. All Dodgers. That's the standard. That's the expectation. That's what this team believes it is. And now they have to back it up. They have to go out there and prove that the ruthless decisions were the right decisions. That the new pitcher can deliver. That the roster moves made the team better. That this group of players, right now, in this moment, is operating at a level that the rest of the league simply can't match. Dave Roberts will be watching from the dugout. He'll be making decisions in real time, adjusting to what the Diamondbacks throw at them, managing the bullpen, managing the lineup, managing the egos and emotions and pressure that come with being the best team in baseball. And he'll do it all with the same ruthless clarity that led him to make those immediate post-game decisions. Because Roberts understands something that not every manager understands. Winning a championship isn't about being liked. It's not about making everyone comfortable. It's not about protecting feelings or avoiding difficult conversations. It's about making the right decisions at the right time, even when those decisions are hard, even when they're unpopular, even when they're ruthless. And Shohei Ohtani, standing at the center of all of this, has made his position clear. This team deserves to be recognized as the best. This roster deserves to dominate the All-Star game. And this organization deserves to be treated like the championship-caliber machine it's become. The rest of the league can debate it. They can argue about whether the Dodgers are overrated or whether other teams have a chance. But inside that Dodgers clubhouse, there's no debate. There's only belief. Belief that the ruthless decisions being made are the right ones. Belief that the new pieces will fit. Belief that this team, right now, is built to win it all. And when the first